Hello everybody, and welcome back to DLC Plus. Before starting this recording, I found out you could make the boxes. You could just make boxes, like you can on like any desktop, but you can make it inside of this. I forgot what it's called. But just box Monica, box Yuri. That kind of sounds bad, man. Oh wow, look, it turned 11. I'm just gonna... This is fun. This is really fun. Oh, what the frick? I just got an achievement for that. Good feature. It is an amazing feature. It is an amazing feature, okay? I just got an achievement for creating boxes. Anyways, we are now on the final side story. It's Yuri's and Natsuki's. I actually really like that this is the final one, and I have a feeling that it's going to be really long because it's Yuri and Natsuki. Like, it's a lot of tension. There's just been tension built ever since Natsuki came to the club between these two, and it was really put in this mainly. It was really put in reflection for the most part. But I honestly, I'm really excited to do this. I'm insanely excited to do this. It's only been one day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki, with Monika's help. Because Yuri chose not to attend the club meeting that day, she and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. Although it's only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she will need to face the outcome of her efforts, whether good or bad. And because the passing of the students was making her feel even more anxious, Yuri picked out the most secluded spot she could find to spend her lunch. Because the staircase is right under maintenance, no student would have any reason for coming here. It's such a relaxing feeling to have a moment of solitude in the middle of a frantic school day. Oh, well crap. Well, that went to shit. Long line exclamation point. Yeep! What are you doing here? I just... Yuri grips her book with enough force to wrinkle the pages beneath the pressure of her thumbs. Well, what are you doing here? ... I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. The other one is out of the drink I like. Yuri notices Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. She nods, avoiding eye contact. Natsuki, also looking away, shuffles over to the vending machine. It's so quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through the entire stairwell. After far too long, she finally receives her beverage, which she then fidgets with in place of the coins. It's some kind of iced tea. But instead of leaving right away, Natsuki just stands in place. She glances all around her. It's like way too quiet back here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I meant, really. I mean, it's totally cool that it's your thing, or whatever. Like, I can just see how it suits you, so... Not because I think you're creepy or something. I didn't mean that either. You know, I'm just gonna stop talking. Seems like a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself attempting some words of comfort after hearing Natsuki stammer herself into dejection. Seemingly in response, Natsuki approaches the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits herself down near Yuri. Well, I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists the cap off her drink and takes a sip. Despite receiving Yuri's general permission, Natsuki doesn't say anything anymore. Yuri continues to read, or at least pretends to. The two just sit there for a long time. The tension seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, this seems to mean at least something, though it's not clear what that may be. Lunchtime ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki is the first to stand up with her empty drink bottle. Are you coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. I'm sorry for being so awkward. I really I'm really bad at talking about this stuff. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. But I want to, eventually. There's no rush. I promise. Thanks. Oh, this is already really sweet. It's the next day. Natsuki appears from around the corner and steps up to the vending machine, glancing at Yuri as she does so. Today, she seems to be holding some kind of book as well. Oh, you're here again. Oh, music. Well, I just came here to read this because there aren't any people around here. Oh? I thought you didn't like how quiet it was. Well, I don't, but there's no people here. That makes so much sense, Natsuki. Your brain was working really hard on an excuse for that. I see. Natsuki sits down. The mood feels so much different today than it did yesterday. After yesterday's lunch and the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri are beginning to feel more relaxed around each other again. Although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki's mind, she continues to detour around it. But it's okay that I'm here? Yeah, I don't care. I mostly just don't feel like dealing with the crap I get from my friends about it. Especially since, like, they all just assume I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. Not that I'm trying to hide it from them exactly, but I just don't want it to come up again now after I've waited so long for this new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. You don't have other friends who are into manga? Not unless online friends count. And Sayori, but that's different. She's not exactly into it, she just likes it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Honestly, you're lucky that your books are... Okay, I can't read. Honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into... Let me try this again. For the third time. Third time's a charm, you know? Honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into at least just look like books, so they don't have to feel like everyone's constantly judging you by what you're reading. That would be so awful. Especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have thick skin, I guess. By the way, I would totally recommend finding some friends online if you haven't already. If you're like me, you have no one to share your hobbies with. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually. I was especially desperate back then. It's somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about those days. Yeah, I feel the same. Moving on. Sometimes I feel like the me from a few years ago would have benefited from a good smack across the face. Whatever. Words. We were all just stupid kids back then anyway. Some of the fanfics I wrote, thank God I got used to... How do you say that word? Personidim? Dan Salvato, you're more educated than anyone in the world. Jesus, what's that word? But I liked it at the time. I got a lot of fulfillment out of it. And plus, I can look back and say with confidence that I've become a better person since then. So, I don't know, I don't think I would change anything. I wonder if a few years from now we'll think the same thing about our current shelves. Probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially someone who doesn't even exist yet. Alright, here. Natsuki raises her hand to her face and forcefully slaps her own cheek. That's me. That's me from the future coming to terms with me right now. Also, ow. I didn't mean to do that hard. Yuri doesn't seem to react. But then, to Natsuki's surprise, Yuri shyly looks the other way before lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself. Oh, Jesus. Loudly smacking her cheek. That... okay. Okay. Don't see the point, but okay. She turns red and stares into her lap, but is unable to hide a smile, as though it was a really funny joke. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't know why I even did that. Maybe I thought it would be funny. Sorry, I keep distracting you. You said you were looking forward to reading, but I keep going on about all this nonsense. I'll let you get to your reading. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. The conversation ends quickly, and Natsuki opens her book. The two read silently for the remainder of the lunch hour. But the whole time, Yuri feels distracted by a twist of regret over having so abruptly forced the end of their conversation. You're back. Yeah, I'm here to lay low again. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki finds herself having wandered to the stairwell once more. Hey, did you buy that? Natsuki quickly notices a bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. What? Like for me? But you didn't know I was coming here today. What if I didn't show up? Well, I mean, I would have drank it myself, I guess. It was a stupid thing to do. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought... Never mind. What I meant to say is thank you. And it's a really nice gesture. It's okay if you don't feel that way. I do. It was, this is awkward but sweet, and it's awkward and sweet. Honestly, this is, as I've said multiple times, this is just more fuel for the people who ship these two together. And basically, any ship can work now. Any ship, no matter the freaking arguments, you can be like, yeah, that one works because this happened. But I mean, they're, in all reality, the actual story, they're just friends. Okay. Maybe in the future, Natsuki and Yuri, I mean, I don't know. Moving on, let's just keep going. It was the other things that I didn't mean. I swear, please believe me. Yuri pauses and nods. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot too. So I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief. Talking is hard. Throughout this entire thing, I have screwed up several times. So, yeah, talking is hard, definitely. Natsuki exhales in relief. She then sits down next to Yuri and takes the drink. Knowing Yuri, she was probably overthinking about it so much. Natsuki's tepid response filled her with self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. Please don't feel obligated. I want to. I want to do nice things too. Okay. Thank you. You can thank me after I figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. Just reminds me of how I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. I'm doing a kind of like an annoying voice for Natsuki, and I really... like, it's more of a mean girl annoying voice at the moment. And I want to stop that. Is that why you've been coming here? Well, no, not exactly. God, it's so hard to differentiate Natsuki and Sayori's voice. It's so hard. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. There are just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. I like being around them when we're all just having fun, but they also just can't take things seriously. So when I'm, I don't know, feeling serious, then their attitudes just really get on my nerves. It's only gotten worse ever since I joined the club. How come? I don't know. I feel like I used to be really good with just putting up with it because it would be so stupid to cause drama over a joke I didn't like or something. But I have a hard time doing that lately. But it's my fault for being overly sensitive, and I have a problem. Wait, if I have a problem, I'm not gonna demand for everyone around me to change. But, yeah, I know. Monica and Sayori really don't agree with that kind of thing. But they're not in my position, so it's easy for them to say that you should just communicate your feelings or whatever. It's not like my friend group does that kind of thing. I would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, none of this has anything to do with you. I don't know why I'm talking about it. It's okay. I like listening. What? Listening to other people's problems? Yes. That's weird. ... Sorry. I just like learning about people. Do you think it's weird? No, that's not weird. I probably just misunderstood, so... I don't know. Does that mean I should keep going? If you'd like. Okay. Well, I don't know what to talk about now. I feel that so many times. What are some things you like to talk... Oh, wait, that's her talking. What are some things you like to... What are some things that you like about your friends? A lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with, like, after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. And it's fun to complain about school together. They make me laugh a lot, and we had a lot of good memories and inside jokes. Oh. I'm bad at a lot of those things. So? Are those all things that are important to you? Well, kind of, but they're not things I need to get out of everybody. Everyone in the club is really different from that, but I'm still friends with them too. Well, Sayori really likes your baking, and she makes you laugh. And she complains a lot. That doesn't mean she's anything like my other friends. Well, unlike them, she's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk that way about my friends that you don't know anything about? Natsuki stands up. No, wait. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. ... Natsuki sighs and shakes her head. It's fine. As long as you understand that you can't judge people like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki sits back down. You can't just compare friends like that. Measure who's better and than who. Everyone's different. I'm sorry. I just... I just don't like people who want to hurt you. ... A moment of silence stretches between them. Oh. They don't want to hurt me. We just like to tease each other about stupid things. It's fun. I don't like that. Also, Yuri's voice can just sound a little bit robotic whenever I do her voice. It's... yeah. Just... my voice is weird. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. You like it? ... Just don't worry too much about me. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. I wish I knew how to help you with social conflicts. Like how Monica can. She's good at these things. Not really. Also, I don't always want help. Sometimes it's just stuff I have to deal with myself. That's what Monica and Sayori never seem to understand. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong, and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" I just want to mind my own business sometimes, and decide myself if I want to talk about things. The only one who understands that is you. So you really shouldn't be hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Oh, you don't need to reassure me or anything. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense that someone who doesn't talk a lot would make a good listener. Thank you. You're also nice. ... It's really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. So weird because I always thought of myself as someone who can just say whatever is on my mind. But I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed or upset, or I want to say something mean. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that, I'm just talking to myself. Yuri nods and remains silent. Natsuki notices her fidgeting with the pages of her book. How come you like reading so much? Oh, well, a lot of reasons, but I just get sucked into it so easily. It's so immersive. Like, I want to be part of it. I think there are a lot of things that about people in real life that make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated. Especially when it comes to following social conventions and group interactions. I just don't really understand it, and I have no real desire to participate. But it's different with books. It feels like I always want to be around the characters. I feel such a strong emotional connection with them in ways I've never felt with real people. Nice way to ruin the mood, Otto. So, in that way, it can sometimes feel more real than real life. Really? It's that hard for you to be around people? Like, all the time? Fairly often. Especially in group settings. When people are making all kinds of conversation and saying jokes and all that, I don't know what to do. And I just feel, disengaged. Is that... Dan Savato, you're a freaking literature genius. I don't even understand this. Oh. That doesn't get lonely? I don't think so. I can still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one, and I have a lot of online friends too, of course. Do you ever wish that you could make friends with the characters in your books? All the time. Sometimes so badly that it makes my heart ache. Yeah, me too. I just went silent because we ain't gonna talk about that. Just relatable. Really? A lot. Like, more than anything. After Natsuki mutters that, silence fills the stairwell once more. But it's a mutual silence. One full of understanding. Oh, that was the end. Male. Polyminor. Ethics. Simply put, it's not our job to to our knowledge, the government's problem to figure out. As long as we made a headway for no longer to apply to us, so I'm willing to follow to apply ethical reason. What? What are these? I have no clue what any of these are. Anyway, we got no new pictures. We got no new nothing. We still have oh, we have one more poem left. I don't know what the frick that. But where is the poem? CGs. Yeah, there's still 3 left. There should only be 1 or 2 in this. I don't know where, like, I'm honestly so confused, but I want to get 100% completion on this game entirely. I want to, so bad. Yes, I would like to begin the side story. Hey. Oh, hello. I almost thought you weren't coming today. Yeah, well, lunch is already more than halfway over. Natsuki had typically been meeting Yuri in the stairwell much earlier, since it had been a good way of dodging her friends when she didn't feel like seeing them. Today, she is holding a large plastic container in both hands. I ran into my friends, so I hung out with them for a while. I'm gonna get some water real quick, excuse me. Alright, I'm back. Is that so? Yeah. I was in a good mood today, so I figured out I should. I hadn't seen them in a while, which I had come up with an excuse for, but I expected that. Plus, I have way more of these... reading. Plus, I have way more of these than I know what to do with, so I figured I would share them with you, too. As she sits down, Natsuki opens the lid of her container. You made cupcakes. You know it. It's been a while at this point, so I figured it was about time again. You can take one if you want. Yuri takes a cupcake and carefully twirls it between her fingers. It's brown with dark green frosting, immaculately shaping into a floral pattern and topped with some kind of glittery powder. How pretty. I just ate, so I may not be able to finish it. Are they for the club? Yeah, I guess so. I didn't really think about them. Reading. I didn't really think about it. I just made them. Ah, I just thought that because green is Monika's favorite color, right? Well, yeah, but that's not really... Yuri takes a small bite. Oh my god. That's a thing? I want green tea flavored cupcakes now. I didn't know that's a thing. That's a thing? What? Oh, I am making these when I can, because I'm recording right now. This is green tea flavored. ... I love green tea. Oh, you do? It was just a random idea, so I wanted to try, so... Green tea is the best tea, you can't lie. Okay, everyone has their own opinions, let me just get that straight. But green tea is amazing, and you can't deny that part. Tea in general is amazing. Okay, no matter if you like coffee or tea, if you don't like tea, there's something wrong with you. Just... That's a joke, by the way. Don't laugh at me. I'm not. I just felt happy. Oh, sorry. Usually when... Never mind. What I mean is I'm glad. Sorry for saying dumb things again. I just wanted to do something nice. And this is something I happen to be good at. And I do know that you like them from past experience. Yuri turns red, recalling the time that she treated herself rather generously to Natsuki's cupcakes. Ironically... What did I just say? Ironically, her mouth is too full of cupcake for her to stammer an excuse, so she just settles for a disapproving look. How do you get into baking? Oh, well, I don't know. It just kind of always appealed to me. Well, a few years ago, I read this one manga with a lot of baking. Hold on. No, it can't be. Never, nah, it can't be Food Wars, dude, no. Does that even have a manga? I don't know. I actually don't know much about Food Wars at all. I just know that they sexualize food. So I got, like, super into it for a while. Voice crack. I was probably making stuff almost every day. But it's something that I always knew I liked anyway. It's like, baking is like an art. But when you get good at it, it's more delicious. It gets more delicious too. I'm struggling to imagine myself putting my heart into something so artistic, knowing that it would just be eaten afterwards. Yeah, maybe if you're too practical for it. I think I prefer to be on the receiving end. That's my other favorite part about it. It's something I can do that makes a lot of people happy, like, unconditionally. Everyone is always so thankful, and in that moment you get to be like the bringer of joy. I don't know, it just makes me feel valued? Yeah, I guess that. So you were able to make up with your friends today? There wasn't really anything to make up with them about. We weren't fighting or anything. You weren't? Maybe I misunderstood. It only turns into a fight if I lose my cool, and that's just unnecessary drama if it makes... It only makes things worse. So, they're not going to stop? I mean, it only happens sometimes anyway. It's just the way they are. I'm the only one who ever has a problem with it. It's not worth it. Especially since I have to go somewhere... have somewhere to go now when I don't feel like hanging out with them. Oh, I see. The cupcake's empty foil wraps... Is this new music? Cupcake's empty foil wrapper. Foil wrapper. I don't think you need the wrapper if you have foil, and I don't think you need the foil if you have wrapper. Just saying. But the cupcake's empty foil wrapper audibly crinkles under as Yuri clenches a fist. I'm glad the situation is resolved, and that you don't have to avoid them anymore. Yeah, me too. I don't have to bother you during your alone time anymore. I'm sure you have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah. I know that cupcakes are basically nothing compared to all the stuff you've done for me. But it's the best I can do. So you can have the rest of them. Natsuki grabs the box and slides it over to Yuri's feet. Yuri stares at the box. Then she takes her head and slides him back. Hand, not head, hand. You should have them for your other friends. But I made them for you. Natsuki's voice whines as she protests. I know, and I like them very much, exactly as you thought. You succeeded, but I know you care about making your other friends happy too. And if this is the way you know how to make that happen, then I'm not going to take it from you. No, they are making you happy. You make me happy. You're worth more than cupcakes to some people. That's why they want to spend time with you and be your friend. Without warning, tears pour from Natsuki's eyes. Oh, I knew this would make me feel something that was not just happiness. Oh, I feel bad. I feel bad in so many ways. Oh. Natsuki, no matter how much I say you're not the greatest Doki, Natsuki is still an amazing Doki, because, as I've said, throughout this playthrough, every Doki is amazing in their own way. Just like every person is amazing in their own way. Whether they did terrible stuff, it's just basically like there's some good part about somebody, everybody. There's a good part about everybody. And yeah, it's just basically the thing. No matter what people say to them, no matter what they do, there's still at least one part of good in them. Most likely. If there's probably a few exceptions for people that don't have any good in them at all. What are those caps on the bottles actually? Hold up, look at the vending machine. What are those caps? They're like turned. Okay, back to it. She pulls her knees to her chest and starts sobbing into her arms. Natsuki, I'm such a bad person. Yuri stammers, feeling panicked. I didn't mean to say something bad. Natsuki shakes her head and wipes her eyes. You didn't. Natsuki tries to choke her sobs and her struggles to speak through them. I just really hate myself sometimes. Same. And it feels so wrong when you just say those nice things to me. Like I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm so difficult. And I can't think of a single thing about myself that somebody would like. ... And I hated myself for bothering you during lunch. I just thought it was my chance to be a good person. Like to be nice and do the things you wrote about in the letter. I knew if I tried in the club, Sayori and Monica would be super annoying and make a huge deal out of it. You know, I think a lot of those negative things too, about myself. I've never felt like a good person. I always scrutinize everything I say, and later I feel like I said all the wrong things. And I just spend so much time thinking about myself, hating myself, and feeling like everyone else must hate me too. So, I understand some of that through my own experience. And that's why I wanted to write the letter and express my feelings. About what I said earlier, yeah, there are exceptions for like people that just are pure evil and there's not a good part about them. But hey, yin to yang, you know, there has to be bad people and good people in the world. Just the balance of things, because yin and yang, as I just said. It pained me to see those things in someone that I saw. It pained... I just can't speak. It pained me to see those things in someone else that I saw in myself. ... The sad thing is, there's such amazing people out there that are just so, like, as I said, they're so amazing, but they just feel so terrible about themselves. Like, and they just hate themselves. And people make them hate themselves and all that stuff. It's so terrible, and God, it's just, it sucks. Natsuki sniffles. Yuri rustles through her bag and pulls out some tissues, then hands them to Natsuki. Monica told me that it takes a good person to reflect on these things. A desire to improve yourself. That makes you a good person, so don't worry so much. Also, there are things about you that people would like, so... Like what? Like how you're fun for people to be around, and you're not shy, and you know how to make people laugh. You're very passionate about things, and you know how to take the lead. And you can care a lot about other people. And just a lot of things. Oh. Well, now you're making me feel really embarrassed. Well, you're the one who asked. And don't feel like I embarrassed you. Wait, I didn't read that correctly, sorry. Natsuki tries to hide a smile. Then she sighs as it fades again. Every time I come here, I always think it's the last time, but then I keep coming back for some reason. Is that bad? Just really confusing. I mean, my friends and I go way back, so ditching them feels like... I don't know. Feels like what? Natsuki's voice gets quiet. Maybe I'm scared they'll get mad at me. I really don't know what to do. She pauses. Yuri stares into the distance, tracing her eyes along the patterns of the floor tiles, while she thinks to herself, oh, I do that too. Just find something to trace your eyes on. Works. It works entirely. What would you do, hypothetically, if your friends were happy for you instead of mad at you? Happy for what? Happy that your new club is making you happy. Well, that's just not a fair hypothetical. Natsuki says that, but with little confidence in her voice. I always told myself I don't rely on the approval of others to be happy. And I still feel that way, but I'm spending time with people who put me down whenever I don't have their approval. That's probably what's making me so confused. Because I'm threatened out of the things that should make me happy. So, no matter what, it feels like I have to be unhappy to be happy. It's making my head hurt. That must make it really difficult to feel comfortable with yourself. Being made to feel like you're wrong just for being the person you are. Really goes against everything I believe in. Wait, that's Natsuki. It really goes against everything I believe in, doesn't it? It goes against the kind of person I want to be. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with a lot of things. Natsuki presses her palms into her forehead and shakes her head. I know that what's best for me, but I keep convincing myself out of it. It's so much easier to be comfortably unhappy than it is to do something scary. To do what? You know, to end it. With them? Natsuki nods. I didn't think you were actively considering that as an option. I wasn't until recently. It's just one of those things where, like, it's been a certain way for so long that you just get used to it. Like, so much of you has gone into it. So much that it feels like that's just how life is. And throwing it away is like throwing away a big part of your life. It makes me feel sick to think about it. Natsuki sighs. It's just really scary. It's terrifying. What are you scared of? I don't know. A lot of things. Like being alone. Not having anyone to talk about or hang out with. Or talk to. Not being able to replace what I have with them. And I don't want them to hate me. But I'm scared they'll hurt me for going against them. Physically? Not physically, but... Yuri clenches her fists. Natsuki. What? Anyone ever thinks to cause you harm? I will unleash hell upon them. Oh my god. Hey. I mean, never seen this side of Yuri before, but it's nice. It's nice. I mean, we kind of have in Akats too, but on herself, and kind of MC emotionally. But anyways, going past out, going past that. This is a new side to her. I like it. I like it. Natsuki snorts in laughter. Don't laugh at me. Sorry, I like that. That's all. Oh, well, I meant it. I know you did. Natsuki gives Yuri an endearing look. I needed it. As the conversation lapses, Natsuki again slides her box of cupcakes over to Yuri. Yeah, no, that defensive side of Yuri. It's really, I really liked it. Like, it was just like 2 lines, but I really liked it. As I already read that. Just take them, okay? I don't want other people to have them anymore. Are you sure? Natsuki nods. I'm sure. I will then. I'll enjoy them. Natsuki looks away, but a feeling of warmth spreads through her. She holds onto that feeling, knowing that it will give her courage. Oh no. Okay. Ah, you're here first today. Mm-hmm. And you brought reading material? Mm-hmm. Natsuki sitting in her usual spot, this time holding a volume of manga while her lunch sits beside her. Yuri sits down as well, and opens her own book. It sucks when a good series has to come to an end. Like Attack on Titan. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's such a big part of your life, and then one day, there's just nothing left. Makes you feel so empty. I mean, there's still an anime left. There's still half of the anime season left, so... Eh. It's not completely gone. Makes you feel so empty. Unfortunately, I am about to experience that myself. I'm on the last book of the series. That sucks. But there's also something satisfying about letting a story conclude. I don't know if I'd ever want it to go on forever. I can tell you, I definitely want Red Dead Redemption 2 to go on forever. That's a video game, not a book. Not even a manga. Mangas are books. I should just say book. But it's still something that I would actually love for it to go on forever. They just keep making, just Rockstar, keep popping out sequels of that. But there's also oh god, yeah. Maybe. But there's also some things I wish I could... Oh, wait. I read that very wrong. On the other hand, have you ever read something that has overstayed its welcome? Yeah, definitely. I can think of at least One Piece? I can think of at least one thing I've read that got pretty unbearable like halfway through, and the ending really sucked. So, it sucks when something good comes to an end, but it also sucks when they just try to keep inventing more plot until you don't like it anymore. I guess it sucks either way. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the nature of things. They come to an end. The two fall silent. They slowly eat while making their way through their respective reading material. Voice crack. Except Natsuki doesn't seem to touching... words are hard! Except Natsuki doesn't seem to be touching her food at all. You don't go out during the weekends, right? Excuse me? Like, with friends, at the mall or downtown or whatever. I'm not totally shut in, you know. Oh, my bad for making exceptions. Well, I'm sure I go out less often than other people, like you and the others in the club. But I don't really meet with friends, and our bitch rarely, words are hard. Spend time with it like that. I'm usually meeting with my board game group. Board game group. Is that a thing? Dude, how long, like, you just... Imagine getting the I don't know where this came from, but imagine getting the best minds of, the best Monopoly players, and see how long that game would last. I just want to see how long. Anyways. Board game group? It doesn't matter. It's just more nerdy stuff. Wait, I'm doing that in my own voice. Why do you ask, anyway? I was just curious. I just realized that I couldn't picture it, so I was just curious. Yuri looks at Natsuki and realizes that she's shaking. Don't look at me like that. Sorry. Natsuki pulls her knees to her chest and puts her head down. I can't take this. Did I do something wrong? Yuri gets flustered, her mind racing over what she may have said or done. I did. I ended it. I texted them earlier telling them. And then I just blocked them because I'm so afraid of their responses. Now it feels like I'm dying inside. Relatable. Oh. I'm sorry. Totally unsure of what to do, Yuri can barely find words to offer. Words of support to offer. I got those two mixed. Meanwhile, the sound of Natsuki's unusually hard breathing fills the air. She then speaks again, barely above a whisper. Help me. It feels sick. I feel sick, and I want to hit my head against things. Please help. I can't take this. You may be having a panic attack. With that realization, Yuri's demeanor suddenly changes. I've experience with this, so I'll help you through it, okay? Natsuki meekly nods through her rapid breath, head still buried in her knees. I've felt this too. It's freaking terrible. Never want to experience it again. If you haven't experienced it, you're lucky. Let's just say that. Yuri slides herself over to Natsuki and sits on the step behind her. Then she puts her hands on Natsuki's shoulders. Can you feel my hands? Natsuki nods. Her shaking becomes more apparent, though. More apparent through Yuri's sense of touch. Yuri keeps her voice low and gentle. You're safe now. You're in a good place, a safe place, where nothing can hurt you. Natsuki nods once more. Although Yuri is touching Natsuki's shoulders, she can practically feel her racing pulse through the base of her neck. We'll do a breathing exercise together. All you have to do is listen to my breaths and breathe along with me. Let's breathe in now. Yuri takes a deep breath. Slow breath. Beneath her hands, she feels Natsuki's shoulders rise as Natsuki takes a breath of her own, trying to mimic Yuri. They exhale together, although Natsuki's breath shakes on the way out. That's good. Let's keep going. Yuri breathes in once more, and Natsuki joins her. They continue like that. They have a few more cycles, while Yuri closely monitors. Eventually, Yuri feels Natsuki rest more of her weight onto Yuri's palms. Let's focus on the physical world. All you have to do is focus on the feelings of your breaths going in and out, and the weight of my hands on your shoulders. You're in a safe and comfortable physical space. Minutes pass in silence. By now, the worst of it is past, but Yuri is determined to not move away until Natsuki prompts her to. Meanwhile, Natsuki has lifted her head up off her knees, and her breathing has mostly steadied. Then, she takes a final deep breath and slowly pulls herself to her feet, causing Yuri to let go. She stretches her arms. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. I don't know what my deal is. You don't have to apologize. This must be enormously stressful for you. Is that going to keep happening? It may, or may not. We can take measures to help prevent it in the future, but I think it will naturally get better over time. Natsuki motions to sit back down again, so Yuri moves over. Yuri turns away to pick up her open book from the dusty floor which she had hastily set down earlier. She brushes the dust off the cover. I don't think I could have gotten through that alone. You're not alone. Feeling shy again, Yuri speaks into her own lap. From now on, you don't have to do anything alone. This is so much ship material here. As she says that, Yuri tenses up. It's rare for her to so openly share her thoughts. but something about Natsuki, of all people, makes it feel so much more natural to do so. Perhaps because like Yuri, Natsuki is also timid and uncertain of herself. Natsuki does such a good job at hiding it that she's taken a long time for Yuri to finally realize it. And because of that, Yuri is able to deliver the reassurance that she herself would have wanted, demonstrating that you deserve the love of others. Oh, dude. Feelings right now are intense. If you can accept that for the first time, then perhaps you can begin the cumulatus. I don't know what that word is. I've never seen that word in my life. I'm gonna be honest. Journey of learning to love yourself. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I thought this one would really resonate with me because, just off the title alone, self-love, something that I struggle with. I knew this would really make me feel something. So beautiful. You're sitting on the floor, not even the staircase. Just saying. Do you really mean that? You're probably gonna regret saying that if you do. How so? Because I'm probably gonna have a lot of free time during the weekends from now on. So you're giving me permission to be as annoying as I want and drag you around a lot of places. I see. But you already said it, so I can't take it back now. You can't take it back now, I think. Huh. Well, I suppose I have no choice but to accept that responsibility then. Mm-hmm. So sweet. So sweet. I know a good ice cream place. Oh? That means you'll finally figure out my favorite ice cream flavor. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, you don't remember? I remember. I have good memory. The first day that you came to the club, you guessed everyone's favorite ice cream flavor, but for me, you said you had no idea. Seriously? I don't remember that at all. Oh wait, yes I do. I said it was probably green tea. Yuri shakes her head. It's a good guess, but my favorite is usually to get chocolate and raspberry together. Oh, Yuri. Oh, Yuri, I love you. Oh my god. Chocolate and raspberry? How fancy. How is that fancy? Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should have guessed something like that. Well, maybe next time I'll try to get chocolate and strawberry. Great, too. Hey, strawberry's my favorite. What a coincidence. I think it helps to have something to look forward to. I still have the sick feeling in my stomach, but it's easier now to convince myself that I did the right thing. Is there anything better I could be doing? Not that I know of. There's nothing that will make this easy for me. And you already did more than I thought anyone could. Come to think of it, we never talked about the letter you wrote. But I feel like we're way past that at this point. I don't even know what to talk about. Except that I think it helped me understand my needs a little bit better. I actually absolutely love that there's no Sayori or Monica in this one. That it's just about these two, and these two alone. Oh, I actually love it, because it's been building up to this. Reflection, whether you say the build-up started with reflection, or all the way when Natsuki first joined the club. It's been building all the way up to this, and I love that it's just these two. The way I like to be treated, and the kinds of friends that I want to have. That's why I wanted to start coming here in the first place, even though I was so scared of causing more problems. I thought it was a coincidence that you ran into me here initially. Oh wait, that's Yuri talking. I thought it was a coincidence you ran into me here initially. Oh, well, not exactly. What do you mean? Nothing. I may have tracked you down first, With the help of Sayori. But you said... I was shy, okay? Look at her face. She's so cute. Sorry. I wasn't ready to, like... Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Well... I guess I'm glad you worked up the courage. Even if it was in your own way. I can tell that you've been making a lot of different decisions. It's brave, and it will make other things better in the long run. I think that anyone would be proud of you for it. Anyone? You mean, like you? Yes. Like me. She's just struggling over there. She's just struggling. You know, I could get used to this. As long as you don't tease me too much. Wait, was that not Yuri talking? Fine. Yeah, that was Yuri talking. As long as you don't tease me too much. Fine. Just a little then. I need to look at the names when these CGs are up. Except this is the last CG, I'm pretty sure. There's still other CGs, wait. Wait, there's still other CGs. That's fine. I know how uncertain everything feels to you right now. But I really do think that good things are in store. Those are my honest feelings. Thanks. It's nice to be reassured. The two girls continued the conversation through the remainder of the lunch. Of lunch. But a new feeling hangs in the air, a feeling of greater uncertainty in their path forward. In just a few hours, there will be another literature club meeting, where the four club members will happily spend their time together. Each of them, with their own special qualities, have something unique that they can deliver to one another. Through friendship and literature, the club members will continue to grow and find new happiness together. The end of each chapter is the start of the next. Yuri thinks to herself, since she's about to finish her long-running series, it would make the best to have a new book lined up. Perhaps this weekend would be a good time to visit the bookstore. Together. Oh! Don't make the... Is that the last line? Is together the last line? Oh, it is. 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 Oh, it's done. Oh, we did it. Oh, I have chills at the moment. Gonna be honest. Yeah, no, there's still 2 left. How'd you get all of these? I have all the wallpapers. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll do one more video on this, just completing the entire thing, getting 100% completion on the entire story. Not the entire story, but everything. All the achievements, everything. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.